Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your Steeler Nation podcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. Check them out at tseshop.com. Get yourself all your great gifts coming up here for the holiday seasons. I'm your host, G.Stryker, and the Steelers are finally getting healthy. All three concussion protocols have been cleared for Kenny Pickett, for Muth, and for Wallace. Secondary is back. Sutton and Witherspoon are back practicing fully after their hamstring injuries. Fitzpatrick is back and practicing fully from his knee injury, which means we've got the entire secondary back and ready for this Miami game. Also have Wormley, Jack, Cole, and Daniels, two offensive linemen, two defensive players. They're back fully also from their foot and ankle injuries. Ogunjobi's back and practicing fully from his knee injury. The only people we have banged up right now, looks like Pierre is going to be limited with his hip injury. He just popped up on the practice squad on Thursday. He was not on there on the injury list on Thursday. He was not listed at all on Wednesday. Might have injured it in practice. Don't know how that's going to progress. Getting everybody back healthy other than him helps us out a little bit. Sims also looks like he's going to miss the game this week with a hamstring injury, which sucks after him coming back from that huge return that he had to open up the second half in that game, really try to get us back on track and scoring some points. He's going to be hurt, but this opens up an interesting spot for a player like Austin. Austin can now come to the roster. He is in the 21-day window to be brought back from injured reserve. His window closes on Tuesday. Shut. If he's not added to the roster on Tuesday or by Tuesday, he is lost for the season, which means this may have just forced the Steelers' hand to cut Sims on Saturday, because that's when the Steelers activate their players from IR, and activate Austin for this game. That would be an interesting move, interesting to see, and all of the wide receivers were active last game. Gunner was still out there making some plays, and the coverage teams on special teams as well. So what looked like Gunner was going to be cut, now since Sims is injured, this might be the smart move for the Steelers, because with a hamstring injury, if it's severe, it's 4 to 6 weeks, like what just happened with Witherspoon, him just finally coming back from that hamstring injury. Second person I want to note on the injury return list who was just activated to the 21-day window, my favorite pickup in the offseason is KZ. So KZ could be back as early as this week. With Pierre not being able to play, they may activate him for this game. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but the one thing you have to think about with KZ's injury, it was a wrist injury. Usually the people that they're working back that take a long time to work back into the gameplay are the people that have lower body injuries. It's tougher to come back from an ankle or a foot or a knee or a hip or a groin or a hammy. Those things are soft tissue injuries. They're more required for your mobility to be back out there and moving. But KZ's been working hard. His conditioning is up. His legs are fine. You can instantly stick him back onto the sheet day one with a wrist injury, and he will be able to perform and make plays. I am hoping he gets activated as well. We will have to watch that. The last person I want to talk about that's on injured reserve, TJ Watt, sending out a cryptic tweet this week showing himself in his practice uniform, just making a crazy face. Does that mean he's returning this week? Does that mean he's returning to practice this week? Thus far, he has not been activated. We've been talking about it. This is the window where we're starting to think about TJ coming back, though, with that knee surgery. I thought he would not be back until after the bye week. Maybe he comes back a little earlier. We'll have to see. Steeler Nation. Steeler Nation, I'm hearing a lot of talk out there right now about let's trade Chase Claypool. And oh my gosh, Green Bay's going to do anything for Chase Claypool. They really want him. Guys, these happen every year. So, and also, let me get this straight, Steeler Nation. You guys want to get on board or on this bandwagon to dumping Chase Claypool, the guy that finally stood up and showed what he could do last week, nearly single-handedly giving us the win, and you want to get rid of that guy? Come on, guys. We're not a tank team. We're a team that tries to win ball games Claypool just won us a ball game. There's no way we trade Chase Claypool. Zero chance, in my opinion. I think this trade talk is generated by these social media clowns and fans that want to help generate the social media presence of this idea getting thrown around that we want to throw our maple syrup out the window. No chance. I'm pouring that syrup on my Trubisky and Kenny Pickett pancakes. I'm keeping that boy the whole rest of the way because he is a man on the field. And he has shown, he's done exactly what we've been asking him to do in these first couple casts this week, guys, this year. We've been talking about Claypool. He needs to use his size better. He needs to be more aggressive to the football. He needs to make the combat catches. Check, and checkmate last week, guys. You don't dump a player that is performing. It's not the Steeler way. We've never freaking done it midseason for a player. Ever. That's been performing well and just dumped them midseason. Never. Don't say never, but never, to quote the great Mike Tomlin. Last thing I wanted to talk about here, guys, Steeler Nation, there is zero place in Steeler Nation for death threats to our players. Zero. Death threats for Dotson, man? Come on, man. He had 2 penalties. And you want to put out death threats for a guy like that. This isn't like Sean Mahan being a eternal turnstile at center for this team. This isn't like Chris Kameato making a few blocking problems that Steeler Nation went crazy about during our Super Bowl runs. I mean, this guy, Kevin Dotson, he's a card-carrying member of Steeler Nation, and he has been since birth. His dad is a diehard Steeler fan. I got to interview him during COVID when we drafted him in his dad's Steeler man cave, complete with a Steeler black and gold pool table. This guy bleeds black and gold. Do you think when he's out there making a mistake that he doesn't feel it, that he doesn't want to be better for his team, his community, his nation? So knock that crap off, Steeler Nation. Wishing this guy ill is like cannibalization of Steeler Nation. And I will not stand for it. Knock it the F off. Grow the F up. If you can't get past it, guys, start rooting for the Browns. Because I don't want you, and Steeler Nation doesn't want you. This is a game. We love our team. There's never a place to put real-life stakes on a freaking game. Grow up or get out. That's my take on that, guys. See what you guys think about it. Hit me up on social media at SN.Stryker. We'll talk about that a bit. Guys, now it's time for questions. Oh, from Steeler Nation. We take our questions from SteelerNation.com, and they are sponsored by Manscaped. So, guys, we all have our private areas. They don't always get the care that they need. But Manscaped is the company out there to make sure your balls are taken care of better than a bad snap by Mitchell Trubisky. So go out there and get the platinum package, and that comes with the lawnmower trimmer, the weed whacker ear and nose trimmer, the ball deodorant, the body wash 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, the boxer briefs, the travel bag. You get it all with Manscaped. Use our promo code SteelerNation, all one word, all caps, to get 20% off and free shipping on your players' needs. You down with MVP? Yeah, you know me. You down with MVP? Yeah, you know me. Manscaped, for taking care of your MVP, and we all know what that P stands for, ladies and gentlemen. Promo code Steeler Nation, 20% off and free shipping. So first questions from Steeler Nation. It's free to join. We take all of our questions from over there. Go on over there if you want to be part of the questions here on Fridays. First question coming from Warriors42. Is there any chance we can make a move before the trade deadline? Definitely a chance we can make a move before the trade deadline. I don't see us acquiring anyone. Really, like, the only position I could think of any acquisitions happening would maybe be offensive line. But there's nowhere else that we even have a need. And offensive line now, they're starting to play better. So hopefully Cole and Daniels here are healthy coming into this game and keep continuing to build on the great game that they had last week. But as far as people going out from our team, Rudolph's on the trade block. We've seen that people are trying to, we're got to try to figure out if we can get something for Mason Rudolph. I'm hoping it's a day 2 pick. I want to get a 3rd rounder for him, to tell you the truth. I think a 3rd rounder is a done deal. 4th rounder, you have to think about it. A bad team, yeah, it's almost like a late 3rd, but you're also picking after all the comp picks. 3rd round, I'd like. 2nd, probably never going to get. But he's a guy on the box. I don't think Trubisky is on the block as much, especially since he came in and got us a win when our starter, Kenny Pickett, went down. So Bush is still a possibility. You guys think Claypool might be a possibility? I wouldn't bet on that one at all. Next question here, coming in from Warriors 2. You seem to be a big supporter of DJ coming into this defense numerous times during the offseason, coming to his defense numerous times during the offseason, while many were in fear of a big contract. I agreed with your assessment of his value, but so far this season, the naysayers seem to have the upper hand. What's up with him? I realize there's frustration with a lack of opportunities, but he hasn't done much with what he's received. Drops, routes or adjustments, etc. What's his problem? Any insight or thoughts on the regression of DJ? So here's my stance on Deontay Johnson. Number 1, he took a severe pay cut as a wide receiver 1. He's locked up for the next 3 years, 22, 23, and 24 at like an $8 million range, like for salary, 13 mil on cap. I mean, this guy is way underneath the 20 to 25 range we were fearing he was going to be demanding. And I wasn't outside of the realm of possibility of thinking he deserved that. Right now, he's on the cheap. He's not going anywhere. He's our guy. He's our X. He's going to get the majority of our targets. He is also out there making a wow play and a wow catch every game. That red zone catch that he made where he had to jump up on a ladder, fully outstretched, and I couldn't believe he came down with that football. Hell of a catch. Big catch on 3rd down on that 3rd and long. Keep the drive going. Help us win that game. Sure. Now, the problem is his drops. And the drops keep getting compounded more every time he drops because everybody goes, oh, there he goes. He dropped it again. Dropping DJ. There he goes. Chicky, wicky, wicky. Working out the hits. Dropping DJ. That's not who he is, guys. He's the guy who makes plays for us. He's the best playmaker at wide receiver on a team. Claypool just showed up last week. DJ's been doing it all season. I want everybody to be making plays on this team, and DJ does have to stop his drops because that seems to be the only issue that Steeler Nation has with him, and especially when the drops come big on 3rd down when he's open, they hurt, and I understand that, and they don't hurt anybody more than they hurt Deontay Johnson, who is all in on this football team and sold all in on this football teams for 3 more years at a reduced salary, pretty much half the value of a receiver like this on the open market. And I will take him every step of the way, even with the drops, but he does have to improve. Next question from Zoneberg. Is Najee 100%? If not, should Warren see more time? Absolutely, Zona. Absolutely, Warren should see more time if Najee is not 100%. And even if Najee is 100%, I think Warren should still get a drive. I still think he's played into that 3rd down back because he's shown he's been excellent at picking up blitzes and excellent at picking up blockers. So yes, more plays for Warren. That helps out not only Najee if he's not 100%, but help keep him at 100%. And that's something that we need to do more, especially since he was a 1st rounder. Bad Cat, what do you think it would take from this team to acquire Chase Claypool before the trade deadline? I know we have to talk about this, guys. For what arguably could be our top wide receiver after last week on this team, and to say that you want to trade him is ludicrous to me. But though, if I was the GM, and if it came down to compensation for Claypool, there's no chance I would ever move Claypool for anything less than a 1st rounder. 0 chance. So he's going to be on the team. And, other than that 1st round draft pick, I just don't see us ever moving a player at the caliber of Chase Claypool. Next question from Bad Cat. Sorry, Bad Cat did the Chase Claypool. We're on Confluence now. Confluence got some questions. Can the Steelers duplicate the upside effort versus the Bucs? I really hope so. To tell you about that, last week, a lot of you guys too, Steeler Nation, riding Coach Tomlin for saying he dumbed down the defense. If you don't understand defensive schemes, you are dumb for thinking he was actually stating that as being fact. Our complex secondary schemes and defensive seven that dropped back were the most complex I've seen in years. And this is the type of defense that Flores used to run against Tom Brady when he was the head coach of Miami 3 years ago, when he was facing Brady, when Brady was on the New England Patriots before he went to Tampa Bay. That was the exact same defense. Don't blitz him, throw 7 back all the time, and confuse the hell out of them with personnel shifts and with complex designs in the backfield at the snap and right after the snap. That's what we did last week. It was so complex, we had to call timeout twice because we didn't have the right personnel on the field. If you guys thought we dumbed it down, you're dumb for believing Tomlin. You really are, because that was an incredible job. And I expect the same thing this week because Flores knows Miami. Flores knows Tua. This is going to be an interesting game plan, but I think we are absolutely perfectly suited. Having the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins last year being part of our defensive schemers, this is going to be a really interesting game to see how we scheme against Tua and how we force him into mistakes this week. Next question, should Kenny sit another week regardless of fitness to play? No. He's been practicing fully. That concussion was a play. He gets another concussion. We got to start thinking about sitting him longer. But right now, he's our guy. He's our starter. If he's fully healthy, he starts. You don't go back and forth and start playing flip-flop, because that is horrible for the young psyche of a young quarterback. And we still have Trubisky able to come into off the bench to make big plays for us. Next question from Confluence. Does quarterback one, whether it's Trubisky or Kenny, now have the ability to throw into the middle, much like Mix did in the second half? Yes, definitely. I mean, you missed that the first play of the game was an interior throw down the middle to Claypool. That was Kenny Pickett coming off the bench, or starting the game, getting him started up. I think having Freiermuth back will be a big proponent as well to being able to go down the middle of the field more. Our biggest play of the year so far was a throw to Connor Hayward down the middle of the field, short. He ripped off a big play off of that. So yes, this team is definitely capable of throwing down the middle of the field. Ben wasn't. Pickett is, Rudolph is, and Trubisky is. Last question from Confluence. Does the team have a good plan for the return to football for Freiermuth? It definitely should. You got to work in our best receiving tight end that we've had since Heath Miller, some way or another. So for moving the chains, big third down conversions, in the red zone, getting touchdowns, Muth is going to be big for this offense moving forward, and I hope he can stay healthy enough to do it, especially that dome. Stay healthy. Godspeed to you, Muth. Lunar, final question from him. I took a jab from him saying I was busy working my job and I wanted the questions here for the cast. He came in and asked me, you have a real job? Yes, I do. This doesn't pay my bills, my mortgage, my 9-to-5 done. I run a marketing and promotion company. It's called Mid-Atlantic Promotions. If anybody wants to look it up on midatlanticpromotions.com. We do a lot of free fun stuff, handing out free drinks for PepsiCo, free chips. We do Chester the Cheetahs. We do giant inflatable bottles and chip bags. We do big inflatable games and interactive games and racing simulators. So I found a way to have fun, but my schedule is all over the place, which is why my vidcast schedule is usually also all over the place. But I plan on doing the vidcast next week on Tuesday at 7 p.m., guys. Set your calendars for the live vidcast. So anybody live right now asking questions, we take our questions live on the vidcast on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Would love to see you there for the full hour of fun that we always have. Guys, be sure to check out our other sponsor here at mybookie.ag. Use promo code SteelerNation. Take the Steelers to cover the spread this week. I think that's a safe bet since we have their former coach helping us out to scheme against them. I think that's one that Vegas missed this week, and I would not be surprised if we pull out a victory again this week. If we pull off a 9.5-point upset at home, I think we would pull off a 7-point upset on the road, Steeler Nation. So use promo code Steeler Nation, all one word. Get double your deposit for all new accounts. If you already have an account, set one up for your cat or your dog. Get double the deposit. Bet on the Steelers to cover and make some money this week. Good luck, Steeler Nation. And guys, also check out this. If you're going to the game on Miami, huge thing. The Steeler Nation sponsored Terrible Tailgate is in town. I know we're doing something at the distillery that Marquise Pouncey is or Mike Pouncey and Marquise Pouncey are part of owners there. So we're going to be over there on Saturday. But Sunday, they're going to be at the Terrible Tailgate. Go to SteelerNation.com. Click on the Terrible Tailgate button. You can buy tickets. It's $70, $75. All you can eat and drink. They got music. You're hanging out with Steeler fans in enemy territory. Lots to talk about, and Marquise Pouncey will be there. So well worth the investment for a fun morning before the game. Highly suggest the Terrible Tailgate and all the great things and great foods that they come up with every week. Thank you, Justin, for the foods that we had last week. I enjoyed them tremendously. Had some cheesy potatoes. They were freaking amazing. It's not just standard stuff. We're not a burgers, dogs, guys. We'll find some pierogies. We'll get some cheesy dog. We'll get some, they had beans and sausages, real sausages, not sausage links like you get at breakfast. Real freaking stuffed sausages. Great stuff over at the Steeler Nation Tailgate. Highly, highly, highly recommend them. That's all the time we have on the Steeler Nation podcast. Like I said, if you want to be the first in the know on the vidcast and all this stuff popping up, go to the YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SteelerNation. That could be Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We will be on there live for the vidcast. Read our great original Pittsburgh Steeler focused articles at SteelerNation.com. Tweet us at SteelerNation. Instagram us at SteelerNation.com. Follow the podcast on Twitter at _SN Podcast or on Instagram, which we are now doing a simulcast with the vidcast at Steeler Nation Podcast. Or you can follow me, your host, Steeler Nation Striker, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the Tickety Talks at SN Striker. Once I get enough followers, I'll start doing live feeds on there as well. That'll be fun. That is all the time we have here on the Steeler Nation Podcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. I am your host, G.Stryker, rooting along with you as always. Go Steelers!